I was affected by the code of the Secret Service in the late 30s. He was affected by the movie Taxi Driver. How many people have seen Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro? When you see that movie, that's what inspired John Warnock Hinckley Jr. to shoot the president. He was in love with Jodie Foster, who was then at Yale. She played the teenage prostitute in the movie, and the character, Travis Bickle, he internalized. He must have seen it 15, 20 times. And he internalized it, so he said, I will do something for Jodie Foster. I will show you what really an important person could do. I mean, that's what a lot of assassins do. They get notoriety of something like this. And actually, he was in a crowd in a campaign which I was on with Jimmy Carter when I was running that detail. And he's not more than the same distance, half a distance between me and Bill right now. He's in the crowd, but he didn't shoot anybody because he saw some agents looking at him. And they frightened him. Agents can be very frightening when they're working. Because they're really serious, because they do take their work serious. They have to. So when we came out the door that day, it's exactly 2:27 p.m. And we're in the diamond formation with myself and Ray Shattuck behind me. And also Rick Ahern is in there. He's a political advance man. We got a formation, like a diamond formation around in front on the sides. And we are trained at the first sound of gunfire or anything like that to respond by cover and evacuate. Don't go for your gun. Don't shoot anybody. That's the inner perimeter rule. If you remember anything about this event today, cover and evacuate. If you see agents covering and evacuating, it's close. It's very close. We never like this kind of stuff to happen, but it did that day. And I especially didn't want it to happen because I lived through the Kennedy years, some of them, and was down in Dallas after that. And it affected the service and every agent in the service, myself included, for the rest of our lives. We could never get over it. We could never get that scene out of our heads. If you were there and saw it, you surely never got it out of our head. So when I heard the first shot, the whole thing went down in 1.58 seconds. That's less than 2 seconds. 6 shots were fired. My dear wife, who was working for IRS at that time, was across the street when it happened. And she seen some of the early pictures. And what she did, or what I did, was I pushed the president into the car, Shattuck shut the door, threw my feet in, threw the president's feet in, and I told the driver to leave. And then we went into what is known as the escape package. We had 4, including the president's limousine. We had a spare car, we had a security car, we had a staff car with the top staff in it. So those cars were designed in an emergency to leave everybody. So we headed back to the White House. Off T Street, made a left turn on Connecticut Avenue, and moved right up very briskly, 60, 70 miles an hour. I pushed him up into a sitting position. And this should be memorized because I've been telling this story for so long that I've got it in my head. I mean, exactly what happened. I'll never forget it. I just pushed him into a sitting position, and I saw a bullet hole in the window and 3 bodies on the sidewalk as we pulled away from it. So it was an assassination attempt, sure enough. So I looked for blood on my hands. I ran my hands up under his coat, up under his sides, up in his armpit area, pulled his head down and hand through his hair, down his neck. Nothing. No blood at all. So I told Ray Shattuck in the car behind, I said, we're going to Crown. That's a code name. That's the code name for the president. Rawhide is going to Crown. That's a great name for an old cowboy, isn't it? Anyway, about DuPont Circle, he was sitting down and up on the edge of the seat, and I was kneeling in front of him. And it's a large limousine, so the pair seats were pulled up against the back. And so he said, I think I've hurt the inside of my mouth. And so he probably showed me his napkin, really full of blood. And it was really a mess. He was spitting up blood on me and my coat and everything. And I got really concerned then because he was pale, very pale, but perfectly lucid. I mean, I said, you know, what's going on here? He said, I don't know. And so I to the hospital. Now, if you take the President of the United States to a hospital and he's not hurt, it's a big news. Big news. Big news. It'll be in the press for days and days and days. How the Secret Service made a terrible mistake. And there have been agents that had my job before me that said, I would have taken it to the White House no matter what, because it's safer there. See, we didn't have any security there ahead of time. I mean, never, unless it's an emergency, go to a hospital without security ahead. Now we did. That's what changed it, was this event. So he didn't complain. If he didn't complain, I said, Mr. President, I'm going against you on this. It's my decision. I didn't have to say that. He didn't say anything. I think he just nodded his head. So one of the heroes of this thing is the driver of that car. And the woman, female agent Mary Ann Gordon, who had the authority to run that route earlier that morning. So he knew that route by eyesight. He knew there wasn't any construction on it. He knew there wasn't likely to be construction on it, and knew how to get there. So we were headed south on Connecticut Avenue. We made a right turn on Pennsylvania. And so from the time of that first shot till the door is shut, it's only 3 seconds. In about 8 seconds, we're moving. And then 3 minutes later, we're at the hospital.